Tonight we're here to talk about advertising and how advertising affects you. It has a big impact on how you feel, how you think, and what you do. So, I'd like to first start with a video. So, if I could have you hit the lights for me, please. Lights, please. It's kind of powerful, and it's real. Advertising has had a big impact on your life. To this point, I guarantee you. A place like Cedar Falls, Chicago, it's estimated that you receive 3,000 advertising messages a day in a city like Cedar Falls. 3,000. That's over 1 million messages you've been receiving since you were about 1 year old. Think about that for a minute. You've been receiving over 1 million messages a year since you were a very small child. So young that you had no way of discerning what was going through your head. It was simply going in. A place like Chicago, Illinois, the big city, it's up to 5,000 a day. That's nearly 2 million a year. Those are real numbers, and those are the averages. Some of you have been exposed to more or less over your lifetime. They're real. It's not make-believe. Well, I take that back. It is make-believe. It is an illusion. It is not real. Has a lot to do with materialism. Advertising brings us this image that a certain thing will make you happy, successful, pretty, beautiful. It wants you to identify with a possession that's somehow going to make your life better. Again, that's an illusion. And you saw some of that in that video. It is not real. Now, it's made to look real, but it's not. We talk about the American dream in America. The American dream. Advertisers want to connect their product with the American dream. Whether that be a car, clothing, technology, it can be anything. They want you to connect their product with success, living the American dream. Don't let them do that to you. And again, I say do that to you. Because I challenge you to actually think about this for a moment. Who is doing the thinking? Are all of your thoughts your thoughts? Sale. We've talked about this a little bit. Something's on sale. Got to buy right now. That's part of this package as well. You got to buy right now because this amazing product will only be available for this short period of time. They're reaching emotions. I may lose it. I got to have it. It's that emotional trigger we've talked about. Maybe reaching that weak spot that we've talked about. That weak spot that we all have. That something in us says, man, I really like that a lot. So they reach into you to try to get you to buy that item now. Because you got to have it, or you're not going to be successful, popular, pretty, happy. Beware of sales. Bait and switch. Bait and switch. This is used every day in America. Every single day. This is a case where we provide something amazing, and then we pull you into the store to buy that amazing item, and you get there and you realize it's maybe not so amazing, or it's been sold, or, wow, that's better. You see, that's switching. The bait is the cheap, amazing product, and the switch is the more expensive items that make the business a lot more money. They know if they can get you in the door, they have a good chance of selling you. They know this. Bait and switch happens throughout every day in America, and it's going to happen throughout your lifetime because it works. It works. We all want to get a deal. We all want to feel like we're getting something that somebody else couldn't get. And we're first to get it. Getting you in the door with that bait so they can switch you to more expensive, better products works for the business and not you. Be aware of bait and switch. As you leave today, I want you to take some time and think about advertising. Think about all these messages that are coming at you. Just step back. Be aware. Think about those 3,000 messages. And think about how old you are now and how many years you've been receiving them. So how does advertising actually work? Well, they're using certain emotional triggers to catch you. Popularity is one of them. How do you know what is popular? Pause and think about that. How do you know what is popular? Let me tell you. The advertisers told you. And they shared that message with enough people. Those people shared it. And therefore, it's popular because I thought so. Did you? Did you think so? Do you know what popular is? Or did somebody put it in here? Fear. Fear is used all the time, right? If you don't buy now, you're not going to have it. It's going to be gone. If you don't buy it now, well, you're not going to be anybody. Because they're all going to have it. So you're the sucker stuck without it. You don't want that. You don't want to be the loser on the block. They use fear. They use that emotion on us. That emotional trigger that says, I gotta get it now. And again, that's something, that 30-day waiting period helps you to avoid many of these things. And again, to remind you, that 30-day waiting period, something that you think you want, you pause, you don't buy it, you wait 30 days. If you still want it, which many things you won't even remember what you wanted, you'll not buy it. But if you do still want it, and you got cash, you plug it down, it's yours. Fame. Fame is used all the time in advertising. Right? We see people like J-Lo selling a car. Is J-Lo a mechanic? Yeah, I don't think so. Right? We use famous people to connect with a product. J-Lo likes it, so it must be amazing. Famous people are used all the time to impress you, because for some reason in our society, we are impressed with fame. Think back to the first week, that first week that we talked, and we sat here and you saw me stripped down to my shorts, right? Because I'm just human. Guess what? Those celebrities, they're human too. Think to that woman that got dressed up to look amazing. But when you saw her before, when she was amazing, she looked just like you. She wasn't special. J-Lo's not special. And neither is the other famous people that are used to push products. And those famous people, they are paid a great deal of money. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do you think advertisers love to give them money? It works. That's why famous people advertise products, because it works. It sells products. Because people are overcome with the fact that this amazing, famous person likes this product, so that must be an amazing product. Now, I know what you're thinking at this moment. You think, Finley, I'm not that gullible. Well then, celebrities are making a great deal of money for no reason at all, if we as a society are not that gullible. There's a lot going on that maybe we're not aware of. The world of advertising consumes you. It's all around you. It's easy to think, I am doing my thinking. I'm doing my own thinking. Nobody is causing me to change what I know. I'm not so sure. Next up, success. Success is used in great amounts to sell you on a great life. Buying this product, a new car would be a great example. You buy a new car and you will be successful. You see the person, man, female, they have a beautiful suit, they're smiling, they're happy, they're successful because they bought this new vehicle. That's the illusion. The illusion. What's the truth? As soon as they bought the new vehicle, their wealth went down. They became less successful financially. That's the truth. The advertisement tells you one thing. The truth tells us something else. We have to look through this maze of clouds of stuff to get to the truth. Advertising is an illusion. Continue to remind yourself of that. Teach your children that. And remember, when a child is 1, 2, 3 years old, they're not capable of seeing through any of that. What they see is the truth. Finally, happiness. We're sold in this world that possessions will make you happy. I've talked about this a little bit. Well, this is the week where I'm really bringing it to the maximum amount of attention. Possessions will never make you happy. No matter how much advertising tells you that, which again is an illusion, it is not the truth. No thing will ever make you happy. It is the truth. Now, you may think, well, nobody ever told me that. You see, I look crazy saying this. I get that. I sound a little strange telling you this stuff. Because maybe you've never heard it. Maybe you've never really thought much about it. It's the truth. I'm here to share with you the truth. Think back to The Wizard of Oz. I'm sure many of you have seen that movie. The big wizard's doing his thing. But when we open the curtain, what do we see? We don't see some grand wizard. We are opening the curtain, folks. It's not very pretty. But it's the truth. And by knowing and understanding the truth, advantage you. It puts you in the driver's seat instead of all those businesses paying all those thousands and thousands of dollars to convince you that their product is going to make you popular, successful, happy, somebody. What can you do about it? What can you do? Become self-aware. That's a huge issue. Understand the world you're in. Sounds kind of abstract when I say that. What world? This is the world you see. But when you walk out of here tonight, I hope you see a different world. A different world than the world you saw before you came here tonight. As we become self-aware of everything that's going on around us, we start to empower ourselves, empower our feeling, our thinking, and our behaviors. It's real. This is powerful. It is life-changing. What I told you tonight as we came here, that this is the most important class I'm going to teach you, I'm not exaggerating. Tonight can change your life. Build your self-esteem. Build your self-esteem. What are you telling me, Finley? I'm saying advertising focuses a lot on young people because you're developing, just like I was when I was 20. Right? I was trying to figure out who I was. I wasn't sure. I didn't know who I was. You're trying to figure out who you are, how you fit in this world. That's okay. You're at that stage. Advertisers focus on that chink in your armor because your self-esteem isn't quite where it's going to be one day. And so they feed you advertising messages to make you feel more popular, that build your self-esteem, to make you prettier, more successful. Those messages are fed to you, and they work because your self-esteem is not as high as it can be. And that's not a knock on you, whether you're 20, 30, 40 years old. Building your self-esteem, understanding that you are in control of your life and you are capable of changing your life. What you can do is you can start disconnecting yourself from stuff. What does that mean, disconnect? That means the stuff that's in your life, it doesn't have any real importance to you. It's just stuff. A good quote that I've heard many times, and it's so true. Never love something that cannot love you back. There's truth to that. It's just stuff. Here's an example. I have a 13-year-old car. 13. You're thinking, well, damn, Finley, you got money to go buy a brand new car. Why don't you do that? Why do you drive some beat-up old 13-year-old car? Because it's not important to me. I could go today and pay cash for some $80,000 Lexus. Of course, as soon as I drove it off the lot, I'd be poorer than when I bought it. But I'm not connected to that car. It's irrelevant to me. You see, that stuff, it doesn't define me. It's not who I am. Don't let stuff define you. You define you by the kind of person you are. If you're going to judge me on the kind of person I am. Because that's how I'm looking at you. I don't care if you own the right phone, the right computer, or you wear the right clothing, or you drive the right car. I don't care. You're not going to impress me, I promise you. And the people you do impress with stuff maybe aren't the people you need to be worried about. Disconnect from stuff. It can change the course of your life. Now, how does all this stuff what does it have to do with personal finance and finding happiness? When you disconnect from stuff, you stop blowing a whole lot of money to try to impress people and really try to impress yourself. All of a sudden, all that money you would have blown, you don't. And you've got a whole pot full of money to save and invest for your future. And one day, maybe give away. Focus on creating your culture. The pink wig, again, the deeper message behind the pink wig. If a culture is not serving you, your soul, who you are, who you want to be, you have every right to reject that culture and create your own culture, a culture that will serve your soul, that will bring you happiness, something possessions will never, ever do. Create your own culture. You can do it. Your life is yours. It's up to you. And you are capable. It's within you to create your culture. It's a big deal, folks. Gandhi, one of my favorite guys, he told us, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change. You. I want to get to this fulfillment curve, is what it's called. The name of it comes from the book, Your Money or Your Life. A wonderful book. One of my favorite. Your Money or Your Life. It's a life-changing book. It talks about many of the issues I'm talking about tonight. You see, I wasn't born with any of this knowledge. I picked it up. So can you. And once we pick it up, I think it's our responsibility to share it. Just like I'm doing with you tonight. Let me describe the fulfillment curve. This is basically a curve in which this is the direction of how much money we spend. The more money versus how much fulfillment in our life that we achieve, that we get from that money that we're spending. We start off right near the bottom, basic needs. Food, water, shelter, something most Americans blew past long ago. Even though there are millions of people who cannot even meet these needs, it's not even in our rearview mirror. We don't even really think about these kinds of issues. So we blew past this, and that's good. Good for you, good for me. We start buying, spending more money as the curve goes up. We start buying some more of these creature comforts. We want to be more comfortable in life. And you know what? It's a nice thing. We like to have more than just basic shelter and food and water. We get a few of these creature comforts that make life a little bit better. Make sense? I get that. I'm with you. There's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't feel any guilt over that. But we don't stop there. You see, we start going for a few luxuries. And again, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not telling you not to have a few luxuries in your life. I'm not. I have a few luxuries. It's okay. But when do we stop? When do we stop? When do we say, enough? You see, when do we say, I have enough? Enough. Some people never say this. They have $5 million, but they need $10 million. Somebody's got $20 million. They need $30 million. What is enough? Well, here's a little tip. Enough is not a number. There is no number that equals enough. Each individual, each one of us has to come to terms with that. What is enough in your life? You'll decide that, not me. But guess what? Nobody's going to come and tell you when that point is. They're not going to say, you have enough. You got to figure that out. And when you do, you stop. stop trying to accumulate more stuff. Because guess what? Enough is the summit. It's the top of the mountain. It's it. It's where you want to be. You don't climb a mountain so you can go down the other side. You climb it to hit the peak. But what happens is, if we don't know how to stop it enough, we keep spending money to get more and more stuff. Except that stuff is less fulfilling. We feel less fulfilled with our life. So sometimes we buy more stuff, but we're going in the wrong direction because we're chasing an illusion, something that is not real. Now, what is real is the debt that people assume to buy more stuff. What is real is the stress that comes with all that debt. That's real. But fulfillment, happiness, no, it doesn't. So, focus on that word enough. My goal tonight is to put that in your head. Just like those advertising executives and experts, just like what they've been doing for the last 15, 20, 40 years. I'm trying to maybe reprogram you a little bit. Give you something else to think about. Maybe a different way of living as you create your own culture. Now, when you reach enough, you think, that's it. Well, guess what? You can actually go higher. I illustrate this by thinking of a helicopter. You're on the summit of a mountaintop, you think you hit it, and then a helicopter comes in, picks you up, and takes you higher. That helicopter's name is giving. Giving will bring more happiness to your life than any of that stuff ever will. Ever. Count on it. It's the truth. This is not a message you're ever going to hear through advertising. Why? Doesn't make them any money. But this message isn't for them. It's for you. That fulfillment curve is real. I've lived it. I know it. It works. This works too. And a lot of people in bankruptcy court, they know it. Make the choice that's going to serve you and your soul. It's an important message. I have a couple more videos to show you. I'd like you to think about this as we go forward. Yes, Trish.
I was going to put in my 2 cents on this too, is that we start with this basic needs, and that it really is shelter and food and security. One of the interesting things that I see that I would really ask you all to think about is what happens when you have those basic needs. Let's say shelter, you have an apartment, you have a house, and then we feel the need. I feel like when we say stuff, sometimes we think about like the iPhones and the coats and things we put on our body. But when you have the basic house or whatnot, then think of all the money you spend on decorating that house and decorating your space and decorating yourself. I mean, that's also stuff. And I guess I feel like the message there is that you have to do all of these things because then you'll be happier, right? But it's, again, adding to that curve of just stuff. You're just putting an inanimate object on your wall, right? So it's not just what you can hold.
You can find all these videos on my website at thecrazymaninthepinkwig.com. The previous video that I showed you and this video. So before I show you this, sometimes you spend a lot of time talking about what not to do. I'm going to show you how to live that other way, how to create that other culture. Lights, please.
Every day, Americans are bombarded with hundreds of messages suggesting that the good life is attainable through the goods life by making lots of money and spending it on products that claim to make us happy, loved, and esteemed. On the news shows, we hear a near constant refrain from economists and politicians about the importance of consumer spending and economic growth. And around $150 billion are spent most years to embed consumer messages in every conceivable space, from TV shows and websites to public bathrooms and escalator handrails. Lately, marketers have even been paying actors to drop sales pitches into conversations in bars and city parks. But commercialization and consumerism also reach deeper, worming their way into people's psyches and encouraging them to organize their lives around higher salaries and owning more stuff. Unfortunately, this can come at a high price for the well-being of both people and the planet. Research consistently shows that the more that people value materialistic aspirations and goals, the lower their happiness and life satisfaction, and the fewer pleasant emotions they experience day to day. Depression, anxiety, and substance abuse also tend to be higher among people who value the aims encouraged by consumer society. Strong materialistic values also influence our social relationships and thereby affect other people's well-being. Scientists have found that materialistic values and pro-social values are like a seesaw. As materialistic values go up, pro-social values tend to go down. This helps explain why people act in less empathic, generous, and cooperative ways when money is on their minds. When people are under the sway of materialism, they also focus less on caring for the earth. The same type of seesaw is at work here. As materialistic values go up, concern for nature tends to go down. Studies show that when people strongly endorse money, image, and status, they are less likely to engage in ecologically beneficial activities like riding bikes, recycling, and reusing things in new ways. Clearly, if we hope to have a happier, more socially just, and more ecologically sustainable world, then we need to develop ways to diminish the power of materialistic values in our personal lives and in society. Two basic principles for change can help frame the way forward. First, we need to understand what causes people to prioritize materialistic values. For instance, studies show that people focus more on material things when they feel insecure. So instead of buying a new handbag or power tool the next time you've had a blow to your self-esteem, consider a different coping strategy, like spending time with friends or taking a walk outside. Scientists also know that the more that people are exposed to the media, the more they prioritize materialistic values. A couple of ways to diminish the onslaught of consumer messages are to use ad block to hide ads on the internet or to hit mute when commercials play on TV. But these steps can only take us so far. We also need to get active and start to remove advertising from public spaces and from our children's schools so that people aren't exposed to materialistic messages so often. The second principle for change involves promoting intrinsic values for growing as a person, being close to one's family and friends, and improving the broader world. The research shows that intrinsic values not only promote personal, social, and ecological well-being, but can also act to immunize people against materialism. It's that seesaw again. As intrinsic values go up, materialistic values tend to go down. So part of the trick is to build a life that expresses your intrinsic values. That might involve spending more time with people you care about, finding meaningful work, even if it pays less, and taking part in volunteer opportunities for causes you care about. But again, changing our lifestyles is not enough. We also need to advocate for policies that promote intrinsic values. For example, countries like France and Bhutan have recognized that they can't only focus on GDP and other measures of economic growth. Now they are starting to regularly assess citizens' well-being and sense of connection to their communities so as to develop policies that truly encourage these intrinsic values. Similar efforts are underway in some parts of the United States, but they need more support. The grip that consumerism and commercialism have on our world can seem inescapable, and there are certainly powerful forces that push materialistic values on us. But by making changes in our personal lives and by working for broader societal changes, we can break the hold of materialism and be freer to live our intrinsic values. That, in turn, would help us to take important steps toward greater personal well-being, a more humane society, and a more sustainable world.
Next video is an example of what one person can do. One person.
I finished my college here. I was working for Taj Group of Hotels Bangalore. I saw a very old man. He was eating his own human waste for hunger. I thought, what is the purpose of my life? What am I going to do? In a star hotel, I feed all my guests, but where in my hometown, there are people who are living even without food. I quit my job and I started feeding all these people from 2002. Then pongal is a blend of rice and jam with a lot of spices. Then pongal and sambar we made for the breakfast, and for lunch we made tomato rice and sabji. We fed the homeless, mentally destitute, and the old people who did live uncared of the society. People are suffering for food. They don't have food to eat. If you don't give them food to eat, they will die out of human hunger. I cut their hair, I give them a shave, I give them bath. For them to feel psychologically that they are also human beings. There are people to care for them. They have a hand to hold, hope to live. One part, love is another part. So the food will give them physical nutrition. The love and affection which you show will give them mental nutrition. Being a Brahmin community and an Orthodox family, there are a lot of objections. Brahmins are not supposed to touch these people, clean these people, hug these people, feed these people. Everybody has got 5.5 liters of bread. I'm just a human being. For me, everybody are same. There are thousands and thousands and lakhs of people suffering. What is the ultimate purpose of life? Is to give. Start giving. See the joy of giving.
Lights, please. Gandhi was right. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Be that change. Okay, question of the night. Get your pen and pad out. the second hour, we're having Tim Bakula here to provide school loan information. So if you have school loan questions, he is the expert in the field. He'll provide all kinds of good information that will help you. Question is, what is